campers, thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're going to be featuring a great recipe that you and your family can enjoy on this great 4th of July. We would like to thank our sponsors today for this quick and easy recipe, Region 19 Educational Services. They are here to help the community educate and inform for the future of El Paso. Let's go ahead and get started with this great recipe. So today we're going to go ahead and do a phyllo bread pudding. Now your usual bread pudding would add probably some older bread, some ripe bread, old bread that you can use at your home. You could do a little quick recipe. Today we're going to do it a little bit different. It's going to have a little bit better texture, I believe. This is going to be using our phyllo dough. A phyllo dough you can go ahead and get at Albertsons. This one itself, Walmart doesn't carry it. They carry more of a pastry dough. It's not exactly what we're looking for, but we're going to go ahead and use this one that I got at Albertsons, and it's a phyllo pastry sheets. This one comes with 18. You might be able to use this. You might need a little bit more, but we're going to go ahead and do the recipe together so we can figure out if this recipe works. Other ingredients that we're going to be using are butter, milk, condensed milk, evaporated, cinnamon sticks, 3 eggs, vanilla, and some sugar. Let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and butter down our sheet here. Now I'm using a baking glass sheet that I can go ahead and throw into the oven. You're more than welcome to use any kind of baking sheet you'd like. I like to use this for presentation purposes, and that way it looks a little better and you can actually see the layers and what it's actually going to look like at the end. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and butter the surface of our pan. You're going to want to butter it really, really nice and even. Now you're going to want to get all the sides, you're going to want to get everything. This is going to allow and help not stick to the glass, but also add flavoring immediately to the phyllo dough. Now phyllo dough can be used for a lot of different recipes. The more familiar recipe you would probably use it for would be baklava. We have done baklava here on our channel before. So if you want to go ahead and see that recipe, I'll go ahead and link it below. That way you can go ahead and follow back up to that baklava recipe. All right, so we already have here our baking dish, nice and buttered, as you can see here. What we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and pack this with our phyllo dough. Now phyllo dough is pretty much really small, thin sheets of pastry dough, pretty much rolled out. They come really paper thin, and then you can pretty much create layers with them. This comes in a pack, just like this. We're going to go ahead and open this up, and then we're going to go ahead and place it bunch by bunch in our sheet here. I'll go ahead and turn this over to the side. You're going to go ahead and open up your pastry. Now, usually this pastry dough does come a little bit frozen, so you have to wait for some time for it to thaw out. Usually takes about an hour or two out of the fridge. If you leave it in the fridge to thaw it on its own, it'll take about 4 to 5 hours. So parents, I could recommend you going ahead and buying this a little bit a day in advance, so you can go ahead and let it thaw out. Now, if you've never seen pastry dough or phyllo dough, it looks almost like paper. It's really, really thin. So what you're gonna go ahead and do for this is you're gonna go ahead and let me move all of this to the side. We'll be using this in a second. Is you're going to go ahead and you're going to place some long ways. You're going to make little fans, kind of like what you would do a paper fan. You're going to get 2 or 3 of them at a time. Go ahead and count 2 or 3 of them. Just like that. And what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to fold them back and forth, kind of like if you're folding a fan. So back, forth, back, forth. The first ones are going to come out a little bit more crumbly because they're at the top. They're kind of damaged, but it's okay. We're still going to use them. You're going to go ahead and grab them like this, and then you're going to pack them in here like that. You're going to do 2 to 3 at a time. You're going to pack them in so it gets nice and even. Again, you might be needing 2 boxes, not just one, to go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and grab our next sheets. It's going to go ahead and it might tear a little bit. That's okay. Don't worry about that. All we're going to do is go ahead and go back and forth. All this is going to be doing is creating the different creases. You can even just bunch it up yourself just like that. You don't really have to go back and forth. And then you're gonna go ahead and place it on top like this. And you're gonna do that till you get all the way to the end. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward so I don't bore you with just doing this back and forth. All right, so we went ahead and put all these sheets in here. As you're gonna see a whole bunch of layers. What we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of butter on top of this. And then we're gonna bake it in the oven for 15 minutes at 390 degrees, just so the top can get a little bit more crisp before we go ahead and add all of our milks on top of that. So remember, we're gonna do it for 15 minutes in the oven at 390 degrees, and we're gonna place a little bit of butter on top so it can help with that crispness and also help butter the whole top of it and not just the sides or the bottom. So let me go ahead and grab that. Now you can do different things. You kind of just pour the butter on top. You can get a spoon, go around. You can get a pastry brush and do that. But so I don't have to dirty anything more, I'm gonna just go ahead and place it on top. Just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven again for 15 minutes at 390 degrees. Let's go ahead and move over to the second step. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our second step. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and combine all of our different milks here. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is I have whole milk here, and I have about 1.5 cups of whole milk. I have 14 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this can. We use this a lot on our channel here on Campuga. It's a great additive to a lot of recipes, adds some great sweetness, and it's really good for baking. Just like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and add our evaporated milk, and we have 12 fluid ounces of evaporated milk. Just like that. What we're gonna go ahead and do is now add our 3 eggs. And then we're going to go ahead and add a splash of vanilla. And then we're going to go ahead and blend it. Alright, now that our combination is here nice and blended, we're going to go ahead and wait a little bit till the phyllo dough comes out of the oven, and we'll go ahead and place it on top so it can be the custard for our bread pudding. Let's go ahead and grab that from the oven. Alright, look at that beautiful phyllo dough. It's a great golden color. That's exactly what we were looking for. We're going to go ahead and let it go ahead and get nice and golden. We put it for 15 minutes at 390 degrees as we made our mixture here to go ahead and place inside. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and put our mixture here of our condensed milk, evaporated milk, and regular whole milk, eggs, and some vanilla onto our phyllo dough to make it into an actual pudding, bread pudding kind of a thing. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and add a little bit too, and then we're going to go ahead and let it soak in on itself, and then we're going to go ahead and add the rest. Now you are going to hear a little bit of sizzling going on. That's because the actual tray itself is really, really hot, the glass. So you're going to start adding in something a little cold. It's going to start sizzling. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit. We're going to let that phyllo dough absorb as much as possible, and then we're going to go ahead and add the rest of it. It may look like you're adding too much, kind of like when you're doing a tres leches cake or a bread pudding. Do remember we are making a custard out of this, so it's going to end up thickening up, getting a little bit more dense into the oven. We are gonna bake it again for 20 to 25 minutes at still 390 degrees until it all bakes up and crisp up together. It's gonna look like a gelatin, kind of like a tres leches bread, kind of a custardy look, but that's exactly what we're looking for. So we're gonna go ahead and let this soak in just for a little bit before we add a little bit more to the phyllo dough. Now, if you get to a point where you think you absolutely can't add any more because it looks like it's a drowning, you can go ahead and stop. As you can see, I still have a little bit left here. I'm not gonna go ahead and use it all. I do have some pieces here that are already crunchy nice at the top. If I fill it up into that exact point, I'm gonna pretty much drown this. I don't have to use all of this. I can go ahead and bake this on its own if I wanted to, kind of like a creme brulee, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave it just like that. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and stick this back into the oven. Remember, it's 390 degrees, but this time I'm gonna go ahead and let it bake for about 20 to 25 minutes until there's a nice golden color on top. You shake it and it's a nice gelatin consistency, and then you can go ahead and pull it out. Let's go ahead and put it into the oven. 5 minutes before it comes out of the oven, let's go ahead and work on our last step before this recipe is over. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and make a simple syrup recipe here on our channel for Camp Puga. This simple syrup recipe is gonna go on top as a glaze for our phyllo bread pudding. It's gonna add a nice caramelization topping. So let's go ahead and do this together. It's only quick 3 simple ingredients. I have a pot here that I'm gonna go ahead and put on my warmer here. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna add 1 cup of sugar. I'm gonna add 1 cup of water. And I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 cinnamon stick to that. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and just mix it just a little bit so that the sugar does not stay at the bottom and everything gets nice and wet. Just like that. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and let it come to a boil, and it's gonna get into a nice light golden color. You're gonna go ahead and just leave it there, cook for itself. Don't go touching it or anything. Let it warm itself up, get nice and hot. In about 5 minutes, it'll get nice and bubbly, nice caramelization color. As soon as we go ahead and pull out our phyllo dough bread pudding out of the oven, it's gonna have a beautiful golden color on top, and then we're gonna go ahead and place the caramelization on top, and you're gonna wanna serve it just as it is, probably with a dollop of ice cream. Let's go ahead and give this about 5 minutes. Let it bubble up, take our phyllo dough out of the oven, and we'll see what it looks like. See you guys in a bit. All right, this got to a nice boil. It's gonna go ahead and take another 2-3 more minutes. Let's go ahead and take out our phyllo bread pudding and see what it looks like. Wow, what a beautiful color, nice and custardy. It doesn't really jiggle anymore because it's kind of set already. It has a beautiful golden color on top. We're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and place this right here, just like that. We're gonna just see just really quick how our simple syrup is doing. I think it's just about right. We don't want it to get too caramelized because then we're gonna go ahead and make caramel. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to do a simple syrup on top. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. It's still gonna be boiling because it is really hot. As you can see, it's still very liquefied. We are just trying to get a nice simple syrup for the topping. What we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and take this off just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of restrain my cinnamon sticks from coming out. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and pour my beautiful simple syrup on top. It's okay if a little bit falls on there. It looks gorgeous. The smell is absolutely amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this little bit of cinnamon sticks out, just for presentation, of course. Just like that. Let's go ahead and serve a plate together. I hope you guys can see well from there. I'm gonna go ahead and scoot this back just a little bit. Let's go ahead and cut a slice together. You can hear that nice crunch. It's beautiful. All right. Look at this. Beautiful. Has great color. We're gonna go ahead and move this to the side. All this is for getting is a nice vanilla ice cream on top. Just like that. Hope you guys really enjoyed this quick, simple phyllo dough bread pudding. Hope you guys really try it out with your families, and make sure you post pictures if you decide to try out something new for you and your family. Hope you really enjoy, and as always, happy 4th of July, and don't forget, have a flavorful day. Bye guys, thank you to our sponsors, Region 19 Educational Services. Have a good one, guys.